Yimengmeng's phone suddenly had an additional app when it was overcharged, showing her sims. After clicking in, she discovered that this game could be unpredictable, allowing her to predict what would happen around her and her future outcome in advance. Through different choices, she would change her destiny. Keywords of the novel. Females Infinite Sims without pop-ups, Females Infinite Sims TXT Complete Collection Download, Females Infinite Sims Latest Chapter Reading. Chapter 1. 1. Sims App. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. 1. Sims App, Sims. Yimengmeng stared at the phone that almost electrocuted her and fell into contemplation. When did she download such an app? The black background and white text, with 4 square characters, almost occupied the entire area of the app icon. Yimengmeng accidentally clicked on the icon with her finger. The screen of the mobile phone shows rows of subtitles. Start life simulation. At the age of 19, Zhou Yang inherited all of your parents' inheritance and divorced you at the age of 20, your daughter was abducted by human traffickers at the age of 30, you begged and searched for your daughter for 10 years, but she died in a car accident. What the hell is that? Yimengmeng has no faith at all. What's wrong with this game? It shouldn't be Zhou Mei's prank, right? Otherwise, how would this game know Zhou Mei's name? Who else is Zhou Yang? Is it the mysterious cousin that Zhou Mei talked about every day? As soon as she put down her phone, she saw her roommate Zhou Mei happily returning. Meng, you're here. Hurry up and dress up, I'll introduce you to a super handsome boyfriend. Yimengmeng looked at Zhou Mei, who was winking at her for a moment, then suddenly remembered the simulator content she had just seen. No, it can't be true, can it? Yimengmeng felt as if she had encountered something strange. With a subtle feeling, she decided to meet Zhou Yang, who was said to have caused her family to perish. She casually picked out a sportswear for easy mobility. But Zhou Mei was very dissatisfied. She crossed her waist and asked, "Cute, why don't you wear a skirt? How beautiful you look in a skirt. Excuse me, if it weren't for you calling me, I wouldn't even bother going out. How happy I would be playing on my phone in the dormitory." A hint of jealousy flashed in Zhou Mei's eyes. Her family didn't buy her a phone, and there weren't many people in school who had a phone, but Yimengmeng's phone has always been the latest model on the market. People are more popular than people. The agreed meeting place was a snack stand near the school, and Zhou Mei carefully held on to Yimengmeng, looking at her fair and delicate skin, smooth hair, and a hint of envy in her eyes. She came out of the exam very hard in the countryside. She only has 200 pocket money a month, including living expenses. She has a hard life. Since she found that Yimengmeng was a big girl with a lot of money, she was careful to please her and deliberately courted her. Sure enough, she didn't have to say anything when she got together. When she went out to spend money, Yimengmeng would take the initiative to pay the bill. She settled a big grievance and thought she was her good sisters. While enjoying the other person's kindness, she also felt that Yimengmeng must have been mocking her behind her back and didn't even consider her a friend. Coincidentally, her aunt told her that it was difficult to find a partner for her cousin, so she volunteered and decided to introduce her. My cousin Zhou Yang, although ignorant and inexperienced, is a jerk. He knows how to play games in internet cafes every day and has recently met some street thugs, but he looks so handsome. Rich women like Yimengmeng, who have never seen the world before, definitely like those bad guys. At that time, Yimengmeng will become her sister. In law, and the hardships will still be ahead. And she can spend her money and use her family's resources, so she may not have to worry about college tuition fees in the future. When she reaches a distant university, no one knows that she comes from the countryside. During this period of time, I have been hanging out with Yimengmeng, and her skin and hair have also improved a lot. The more I think about it, the more Zhou Mei feels that the future is promising. She must facilitate this marriage. Look, that's my cousin. Zhou Mei gently tugged at Yimengmeng's sleeve and led her towards the several boys with white hair. yellow, and gray at the snack stand. Is there more than one person? Yeah, look at that one with yellow hair, the most handsome one is my cousin Zhou Yang, Zhou Mei said proudly. Her cousin doesn't have much to show off, it's just that he looks wrong. Yimengmeng took a glance and indeed had a playful and handsome temperament. From her appearance, it was indeed a type that she would be interested in. Perhaps it was because of the preventive shot in the Sims app. If it weren't for this, she might have thought Zhou Yang was handsome. However, after encountering the content on the Sims app before, she felt that indeed, people can't just look at their faces. Cousin, this is my classmate, Yimengmeng, local. Our family runs a company. Today she's treating us. Brothers, please feel free to order. Zhou Mei finished speaking and gave a sweet smile to Yimengmeng. Although Zhou Meiping was also like this, for some reason, Yimengmeng suddenly felt that today's Zhou Meiping was a bit unpleasant. However, no matter how much food was eaten here, it wouldn't cost much. As usual, Yimengmeng nodded arrogantly, but her eyes were looking at Zhou Yang, only to see that the other party showed a bad smile towards her. As soon as she thought about the scumbag who caused her to get pregnant and drop out of school at the age of 17, inherit her parents' inheritance, and divorce her, Yimengmeng felt a bit nauseous. She decided to observe again, and Zhou Mei pulled her down on the long wooden chair. The two girls sat in a row, and the other three boys sat on the other three sides of the wooden table. The little beauty is quite generous. In the future, if someone bullies you in school, tell your brothers, and your brother will help you vent your anger. The white-haired boy touched his white hair and said to Yimengmeng. Little beauty, do you have a boyfriend? The gray-haired boy also asked Yimengmeng. Yimengmeng frowned, feeling that these two men were too frivolous in their behavior, and they were ugly. Their faces were either pimples, and their expressions carried a kind of mesmerizing confidence. She felt a bit nauseous. Don't tease her, she looks like a well-behaved girl. Zhou Mei, how have you been studying lately? Zhou Yang just glanced at Yimengmeng and focused his attention on his cousin. He remembered his cousin Zhou Mei saying that this woman is not only beautiful, but also has a simple heart. If she has money at home, she will not worry about not having enough money to spend when dating her. However, the people she meets in school always hold her up, so as long as she doesn't care too much about her, she will definitely succeed in attracting her attention. Zhou Mei saw her cousin following their agreement and immediately joked, Cousin, when did you start caring about my studies? You know, your sister's grades have always been good, and my goal is a big. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. 2 Free Simulation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2 Free Simulation. Zhou Yang and Zhou Mei were chatting haphazardly, while the other two boys were holding a menu and ordering a lot of dishes, even picking out the expensive ones on the menu. Anyway, it was a treat, so they didn't order anything for nothing. For a moment, Yimengmeng, who was responsible for paying the bill, was actually neglected. Yimengmeng was thinking that if it were her usual self, there would definitely be a big gap in her heart at this moment. Perhaps she would do some impulsive things to attract the attention of these people. But now, perhaps because the subtitles on the Sims app are still floating in her mind, no matter how she looks at these people, she thinks they have ulterior motives and don't treat her as a friend. Even her best friend Zhou Mei's smile at this moment gave her a feeling of hypocrisy. Yimengmeng thought of this and gently pulled Zhou Mei's sleeve. What's wrong, cute? Yimengmeng showed a somewhat awkward expression and said, Wait for me, I'll go back to the dormitory and use the restroom first. I'll come later. Okay. Zhou Mei didn't think much, but instead felt that her strategy had worked, feeling happy in her heart. So, Yimengmeng walked straight to the corner they couldn't see and took a taxi home. She moved to the school dormitory because Zhou Mei kept being coquettish and said she was lonely living alone in the dormitory and wanted to live with her. In the past, she was always driven to school by her family's driver. When Yimengmeng returned home, the security guard was very surprised to see her because her relationship with her parents was not good. Her parents always refused to let her play with Zhou Mei, saying that Zhou Mei's girl had impure thoughts. Yimengmeng used to get angry when she heard her parents say this, so she moved out of the house directly. No matter how much her parents begged her, she didn't come back. Surprisingly, she came back by herself today. Zhou Mei only knows that her family runs a company, but she doesn't know that there are actually 20 listed companies in her family. As the only daughter in her family, she has always wanted stars not to be given to the moon since childhood, and her family has never been short of money. That's why she thinks that life simulation app is nonsense. How could she possibly go bankrupt because of a somewhat handsome little thug? I'm really speechless. Yes, even now, Yimengmeng doesn't fully trust that app. She decided to observe it again. As Yimengmeng watched her elegant mother and father in a suit run out of the villa with a loss of grace to look at her, a hint of confusion flashed in her eyes. Suddenly, she smiled and asked, "Are you my dad and mom?" My father and mother were stunned for a moment. What's wrong with my daughter? Why does it suddenly seem like I don't know them anymore? But no matter how you look at it, it's all your own precious daughter, right? It's just that my mother feels like her daughter is a bit thin. Mengmeng, my dear Mengmeng, what happened to you? Why don't you even remember us? Yeah, we are your biological father and mother. Looking at the anxious gaze of the two elders, there was a hint of warmth in Yimengmeng's eyes. These two foolish parents believed everything they said. However, when she thought about her next plan, she still smiled and said, "No wonder I feel friendly when I look at you all. I feel a bit headache. Maybe I knocked on this address before, so I asked the car to bring me back. The security guard helped me pay for the rental house, so remember to give it to him." The two of them saw that although Yimengmeng was talking about amnesia, her speech was clear and her expression was clear. There was no sign of a headache, and she was only seen as her own daughter trying to save face and find a way home. My father and mother didn't even expose her, but smiled and welcomed her into the house, treating her as if she had come for the first time and introducing each room one by one. "This is the living room, this is the kitchen, this is your room, baby. Baby, do you want to take a leave if you have a headache? It's better not to attend regular high school like that. Baby, is there anyone outside bullying you? Oh, I forgot, baby. You lost your memory. Is there anyone you don't like, baby? Dad, find someone to help you beat him up." Just as Yimengmeng enjoyed the warm time of reconciliation with her parents. On the other side. A snack stand. "You ordered so much, now tell me you don't have the money. How about eating the king's meal? Boss, could you lend me your phone number? I'll make a call and the person who pays will be there soon." Zhou Mei picked up the phone in the displeased eyes of the boss and called towards Yimengmeng's phone number. No one answered. No one has answered. Hee, if you don't learn well at a young age, you should learn to eat a king's meal. Hurry up and call your parents. Or call your teacher. Hui Mao smiled at Zhou Yang and said, "Your sister must have been deceived and met a fake daughter, right? That girl actually ran away with the bill. I really misread her." Bai Mao also smiled and said, "It's impossible that Zhou Gu didn't like us, so he ran away, right?" Zhou Yang's face turned pale as he walked towards Zhou Mei and slapped her directly. "Don't embarrass yourself, boss. She said she wants to treat us to dinner. You asked her to hold your student ID and come to work after class to pay off the debt. Let's leave first." Zhou Mei looked at Zhou Yang incredulously and said, "How dare you call me? What are you? How dare you call me? I'll call my aunt." "Whatever you want," Zhou Yang said as he prepared to leave, but the owner of the snack stall was not a vegetarian either. He saw it clearly, and only these three stinky kids ate the most. This little girl didn't eat much. He directly called on someone to beat Zhou Yang, Bai Mao, and Hui Mao. Zhou Mei was enjoying watching beside her. Seeing that no one seemed to care about her, she covered her face and ran away. But deep down inside, there was a deep hatred, and I didn't know what was wrong with Yimengmeng. She knows Yimengmeng very well and definitely won't be evading orders. She probably didn't notice her own caution. Is something wrong? On this side, Yimengmeng had just told her parents that she wanted to transfer to a prestigious high school. After dismissing her brainless indulgence towards her parents, Yimengmeng lay on her bed and clicked on the Sims app. At the age of 16, you entered a noble high school. At the age of 17, you failed the college entrance examination and proudly refused your parents to buy you a ticket to a prestigious university. Choosing to repeat your studies at the age of 18, you failed the college entrance examination and accepted the admission ticket to a prestigious university purchased by your parents. You fell in love with Oh Yangguang at first sight when you entered university at the age of 19, your crush on Oh Yangguang was too obvious. Chu Xiaolan warned you and was beaten up by someone you found. She told you to wait, but was beaten up again by someone you found at the age of 20. Oh Yang's family's financial situation was tight, and your family requested to help Oh Yang's family by getting engaged to you at the age of 28. You married Oh Yangguang as you wished at the age of 29. Your parents died in a car accident on the way to see you, and you inherited a huge inheritance at the age of 30. You were sent to a mental hospital. Oh Yangguang took over all your property at the age of 35. You truly developed mental illness due to long-term use of psychiatric drugs and abuse by medical staff at the age of 40. You feel like a woman is crazily slapping your big mouth, and you're dead. Yimengmeng's face turned black. Why did she seem to have been framed again? End of this chapter. Chapter 3. 3. New School. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. 3. New School. Originally, Yimengmeng thought that Zhou Mei, a fake friend, couldn't provoke her and still couldn't avoid her. For the sake of bringing some beautiful memories to herself from the other party, she doesn't intend to retaliate, just transfer to another school. When I first met Zhou Mei, I didn't think much about it. She disguised herself as an ordinary person and came to an ordinary school to study, hoping to gain a sincere friendship. She has already reduced her pocket money to tens of thousands per month, dressed in branded goods and eating at roadside stalls. No matter how poor she is, she can only do that, right? It was in this situation that I met Zhou Mei. She felt like she had gained a sincere friendship. Although Zhou Mei had never given her any gifts, her mouth was sweet. Moreover, the other party is good at studying, and she is a scumbag with a top student in her class. Zhou Mei always advises her to make progress and looks considerate of her. She even says that she spends money recklessly and wants to help her manage her money. Yimengmeng has always enjoyed this friendship. After all, the money spent on Zhou Mei is not as much as the dog food spent on her own dog at home, and Zhou Mei never minds spending only a small amount of money on her partner. Instead, she is very happy every time she casually gives a small gift. Hey, Yimengmeng didn't expect that the other person was just having shallow eyelids. She misunderstood. Surprisingly, I thought that the other party's friendship with her was not for her money. But it's not important, at least this simulation is safe for a year. Yimengmeng flipped over on the bed and looked at the golden fairy ceiling in her room. After thinking for a while, she decided to click on the Sims app, only to find a prompt. The current fate has not changed, please try again next time, junk app, I'm not allowed to play anymore, So, why don't she transfer to Noble High School? Continue to engage in intellectual battles with Zhou Mei. Don't, thinking about it will make you tired. Yimengmeng lay down again, flipped over, and then lay down again. After going back and forth dozens of times, she suddenly felt. Anyway, being idle is also being idle. Although I don't know if this app is real or fake, Zhou Yang shouldn't be a good person, right? With this in mind, Yimengmeng opened the door and rushed straight towards her father's study. Dad, do me a favor, I've been bullied. My father was in a video conference when he saw his precious daughter come in. He said coldly to the computer, "You guys continue to discuss, and I'll chat with my daughter for a while." He then turned off the video. Yimengmeng was taken aback for a moment. She had never seen her father's office before, so she was still a bit handsome. Yes, Ifu, who was originally a middle-aged and beautiful uncle, showed a silly father's smile when he looked at Yimengmeng. However, thinking of what his baby had just said, his face immediately became serious and he asked, "Who bullied you?" "I can't kill him." Yimengmeng rubbed her eyes and walked coquettishly towards her father, sitting directly in his arms and saying, "Dad, I had a dream, it's so scary." "Don't be afraid, baby. Dreams are all fake. Dad is here. Dad will always protect you." Yimengmeng was taken aback for a moment, thinking that her two life simulations of her parents had both come to find her in a car accident on the way, but she didn't think much about it either. Continuing to say coquettishly, "I had a dream where Zhou Mei introduced me to a cousin who made my stomach bigger. I dropped out of school at the age of 17 and was even beaten to death by that scumbag." My father became more and more angry as he listened. Although it was just a dream, Zhou Mei knew that his wife had never allowed her daughter to play with him, saying that the other person had impure thoughts and wanted to calculate the baby. But when they mentioned this before, the baby got angry and even moved out of the house, so they didn't dare to mention it again. They thought that the girl had shallow eyelids, so they couldn't give the baby more pocket money. Anyway, their family doesn't lack money. But upon hearing what Yimengmeng had said about the dream, Yi's father's expression immediately darkened. However, thinking that his precious daughter was still in his arms, he immediately showed a loving smile and whispered, "Baby, don't worry, we won't be playing with Zhou Mei. It's just a dream. Dreams are all fake, and Dad and Mom will always protect the baby. Anyway, I'm going to transfer schools, and I probably won't meet these people either. Dad, I'm going to bed." Yimengmeng kissed her father before leaving, and his heart immediately froze with pleasure. After Yimengmeng went out, she picked up her landline phone and made a call. "Hey, can you help me check two people? They're not competitors, they're my baby's daughter's classmates. If you find out that the other person has any bad intentions, help me deal with them, and I'll make them pay the price." It made my baby sad. Yimengmeng, leaning against the door, showed a satisfied smile and settled a concern. She happily went back to sleep. The next day, Zhou Mei suddenly received a phone call saying she wanted to go home. She didn't know why, but her family was in a hurry, so she took a car back. She didn't expect to be directly sexually assaulted by the second-rate people in the village after returning. The villagers forced her to marry a second-rate person. She had seen the outside world and naturally didn't want to stay in this small mountain village, but every time she ran away, she would be caught back. Gradually, her expression became numb and she forgot that her dream was to become a college student at a university and live a farming life as a husband and a child. Zhou Yang suddenly received a phone call from his family. The family was seriously ill and asked him to take a leave of absence to work and earn money. He couldn't help but think that if the person introduced by his cousin was really reliable, he should still be studying now, being a reckless teenager and not lacking in money. On the way back, he found his cousin also in the car. Thinking of his tragic fate, he got off the bus midway and contacted the people in the village to contact the scoundrel. After returning, he used the money from selling his cousin to pay a portion of his medical expenses first. He used the excuse of going out to work and stole his family's household registration book to escape to the big city, until a year later he was sent back by the police and locked up at home. But he stole money from his family, obtained an ID card, and fled his hometown. He felt that he could definitely find a wealthy woman based on his appearance, so he wouldn't marry a village maid and stay in the village for the rest of his life. As a result, I contacted a street bumpkin I met at a vocational school outside, got scammed into gambling, didn't pay back the money, and had my kidney dug out. Above, Yimengmeng doesn't even know. After all, she never saw the above two people again in her life. She has arrived at the new school. As a transfer student who has been on campus for most of the semester, Yimengmeng found that she couldn't make friends in the class and didn't say anything, as if she couldn't understand what the teacher was saying in class. No wonder you failed the college entrance examination, and there is indeed a reason for it. The other members of the class have known each other for most of the semester and have established their own small groups. Although Yimengmeng looks very beautiful, she also looks very aloof. This is a top student class, so no one is talking to her. All the students are thinking about how to crush others. The learning atmosphere is strong, and she is out of place. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. For simulate the appearance of a reborn person. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. For simulate the appearance of a reborn person. Upon returning home, Yimengmeng kicked off her shoes, and a maid dressed in maid attire helped her store the shoes while placing slippers in front of her. Mu is watching a TV drama where the legend of empresses in the palace is playing. While wiping away her tears, Mu pauses the TV and shifts her attention to Yimengmeng. Baby is back. How is the new school, baby? Baby doesn't seem too happy. Hurry up and bring up the silver fungus, lotus seed, and blood swallow soup to supplement my baby. Mu held Yimengmeng's hand and asked with concern, Baby, what's bothering you to talk to mom about? Yimengmeng frowned and sighed, saying, My academic performance is very poor, and I can't understand the teacher's lectures at all. Upon hearing what Yimengmeng said, Mu suddenly smiled and said, Hi, I thought it was something. Baby doesn't need to study, it's okay. Dad will work hard to earn money that baby can't spend all his life. In the future, we will also choose a good man who loves baby, and earns money for baby. Baby will live a happy life. In the past, Yimengmeng thought there was nothing wrong with these words and she made a lot of sense. But I don't know if it's because I've been watching emulators lately and always ended up poorly. Suddenly, she felt that not only herself, but also her mother was protected too well. She didn't know the dangers of the world, even though she was in her 40s, her skin was smooth and fair, without wrinkles, and she looked like a girl in her 20s. She also knows that her mother's daily routine is to buy, maintain, and do SAP with some wealthy ladies. And the people around my mom, just like those around her before hiding her identity and going to regular school, are mostly trying to please and agree, and what she says is somewhat true and somewhat false. Looking at my mother's worried face, Yimengmeng thought to herself, probably my mother couldn't hear it either. What's wrong with Mengmeng? Why are you still unhappy? Why don't mom take you shopping? Let's buy and buy. Yimengmeng shook her head, feeling that she still had to rely on herself. So he said to his mother, Mom, help me hire a reliable tutor. I need to make up for it. I don't want to be looked down upon by my classmates. When the exam comes, everyone will do well except for me. That's all good. But baby, didn't you go to regular schools before because you couldn't keep up with your learning progress? Mom. Are you saying you can help me find it or not? It's rare for your daughter to try hard and make progress, but you don't support her. Support and support, my dear mother will find the best tutoring for you, ensuring that you can learn without hardship and improve your grades. Yimengmeng nodded proudly. At this moment, Mu took the blood swallow that the servant had been carrying for half a day and wanted to personally feed Yimengmeng. Yimengmeng, seeing that her mother was willing to hire a tutor for her, took a few sips of face before getting up and saying, I'm back in the room. Mu smiled happily. The baby had not eaten the food she had personally fed for a long time. She felt that her relationship with the baby had improved, and she felt very happy at the moment. Yimengmeng returned to her room, lay on the bed, took out her phone, and clicked on the Sims app. At the age of 18, Yu briefly woke up and discovered that Su Yifan was a reborn person. He had a document with a lottery number written on it, as well as many unheard of lyrics and some future events that you secretly recorded at the age of 20. Your parents had a car accident and you inherited a huge inheritance. You transferred all your inheritance to Su Yifan at the age of 21, Su Yifan rewarded you to one of his capable subordinates at the age of 22, you were rewarded by Su Yifan's capable subordinates and became pregnant at the age of 23, you had a miscarriage in June and both mother and son died. Yimengmeng bounced up from the bed and rushed downstairs to the hall, shouting to her mother, "Mom, Mom! I don't want tutoring, I don't want tutoring. I just got in touch and heard that I am a psychology PhD student who has returned from studying abroad. I have excellent grades and tutoring my child is definitely not a problem. I have already arranged a time to come over later, and I should be on my way now." No, 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 Mom. If you tell him not to come, just say I regret it. Well. Okay. Imu called again and refused Su Yifan. Su Yifan frowned and didn't think much. He had just been reborn and his top priority now was to accumulate his first wealth. He had originally planned to write novels at home, but when he saw that the address where he was looking for a tutor was in a famous wealthy area and that he was offering 10,000 yuan for a class, as long as the little girl was satisfied, he fabricated a resume, thinking that he would simply hypnotize someone with weak willpower, and immediately prepared to try his luck. I didn't expect the other party to say so quickly that they don't need tutoring anymore. Is it true that they still want to copy books to make money? Now he is just an orphan college student who has not yet joined the organization, but because of this, he is a free person. He took a deep breath, the taste of freedom. In order to prevent himself from forgetting the memories of his previous life, Su Yifan began editing documents and wrote down all the useful information for himself. The only sound left in the room was the piano sound of the keyboard. "Mom, he didn't say he had to come, did he?" Yimengmeng asked cautiously. "How could that be? No one is so impolite. Baby, if you want to talk to me, you don't need to find a tutor at all. I just hope my baby is happy. It's okay if he doesn't study well. When he reaches adulthood, he can directly find a good man to help your father manage the company, and they can earn money together to support our mother." Yimengmeng rolled her eyes. She didn't expect that she was just trying to work harder and almost becoming a puppet. It was too dangerous. Return to the room, lie down on the bed, hold up your phone, and continue the simulation. At the age of 16, you decided to secretly study and strive to catch up with your peers. At the age of 17, you didn't get into your ideal university. You accepted your family's arrangements and spent money to attend a prestigious university. You fell in love with Yimengmeng at first sight, but you managed to maintain your rationality. You decided to silently pay attention to him. At the age of 18, Chu Xiaolan asked if you liked Yimengmeng. You ignored the other person and were secretly beaten up by them. They threw you on the roadside and you met Su Yifan. Su Yifan hypnotized you and you obeyed Su Yifan. At the age of 19, your parents died in a car accident, and you inherited a huge inheritance. You transferred all of your inheritance to Su Yifan. At the age of 20, Su Yifan grew tired of you and gave you to his capable subordinate Chen Lei. At the age of 22, you and Chen Lei have a son and a daughter, and you feel very happy. At the age of 30, your husband Chen Lei died outside while carrying out a task arranged by Su Yifan. You received a pension. At the age of 40, your son's school sports meet requires parents to be present. On the way, you briefly woke up and were hit dead because you didn't see the traffic lights while crossing the street. Yimengmeng's head was covered in black lines. What the hell is this? How could this kind of life be happy? Wait, why do parents always have car accidents? Is there a problem with the driver? End of this chapter. Chapter 5. 5. Complaints and Monthly Exams. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. 5. Complaints and Monthly Exams. Yimengmeng rushed towards the study without wearing any shoes. Pushing open the door of the study, Ifu was reading the contract documents when he saw his precious daughter come in. He quickly put down the documents in his hand and kindly asked, "Why did my precious daughter come to see Daddy again? Did she miss Daddy?" Woo-woo, Dad, help, someone is trying to harm your daughter. Father E was shocked and asked, who dares to harm you? I'll kill him. Yimengmeng frowned and rubbed her eyes, saying, I had a dream. Is this a new form of complaint? However, thinking about yesterday when his daughter said he had that dream, he actually discovered some chat records that were unfavorable to his precious daughter. So he dealt with them and let these people go back to where he should have gone. I dreamt that I was hypnotized by a person named Su Yifan and then obedient to him. He was a reborn person, and soon my parents died in a car accident. I gave him all the inheritance my parents gave me because I was under control. After he got tired of me, he rewarded me to a subordinate. I also had 2 children with a man named Chen Lei. In the end, Chen Lei died on a mission and I was also killed by a car. I was so scared, Dad. What should I do? By the way, yesterday I was planning to have my mother hire a tutor for me, and I dreamt of that tutor. It's Su Yifan who also hypnotized me, and my parents were also killed by a car crash. Woo-woo, I dreamt of it for the 2nd time, and I was so scared. Su Yifan hypnotized me as soon as he saw me. Dad, there wouldn't really be this person in the world, would there be? I wouldn't really be hypnotized by him, would you and Mom not have had a car accident? I'm so scared. Although Yimengmeng has never personally experienced anything in the Sims app, just thinking about how miserable she will be in the future, Mengmeng sincerely shed 2 tears and yawned, tired. Don't worry, baby. Dreams are all fake, and baby will never see Su Yifan. Father E decided to investigate the name and the phone number his wife contacted yesterday. If there really is this person really has a problem, and a hint of malice flashed in Ifu's eyes. Well, Dad, I'll go to bed now. Dad, remember to check the car and the people around you, cute and scared. Baby, don't worry, Dad will be fine. Dad will always protect you and Mom. With Dad around, no one can harm you. Yimengmeng leaned against the door of the bookstore and openly eavesdropped. After confirming that her father had gone to find someone to check Su Yifan and the people around her, she breathed a sigh of relief. She was really sleepy. Is there a problem with self-learning methods when going back to sleep? Why can't I get into my ideal university? Perhaps I should ask my classmates for advice. After all, they are classmates who have allowed me to spend a safe year together, so I should be able to join the good people camp, right? The next day, Su Yifan suddenly received a strange phone call, who expressed great appreciation for the novel written by the other party and wanted to meet and discuss the copyright issue in detail. Su Yifan didn't think much and went to see him directly. Then, there was one less person in this world. Ifu's driver suddenly received an invitation from the Human Resources Department. Without much thought, the driver went straight and was fired. Because he felt that there was a problem with his own lurking, he did not entangle. He didn't notice anyone following him, so he went to see his real boss. The boss arranged for him to do other work, but he died in a car accident while taking office. Ifu received a phone call from his subordinates, looking at Su Yifan's computer and the documents inside. Based on the content, he hesitated for a while and chose to report this matter to the country, but concealed his daughter's dream from him, only saying that it was discovered by chance. Above, Yimengmeng doesn't even know. Yimengmeng is attending classes at school and still can't understand what the teacher is talking about today. Apart from Chinese and history, she can't understand biochemistry English at all. And today, the teachers of all subjects have also arranged exams. During the exam, except for Chinese and history, Yimengmeng wrote all the multiple-choice questions in mathematics and English biochemistry geography. She did her best. But still relying on strength, I was admitted to this excellent school and ranked last in grade, which opened up a 200-point gap from the second to last. Yimengmeng looked at herself in front, back, left, and right. When the teacher handed out the papers, she only read the names and scores of the top 3 students in the class. Each of the 3 students received a full score, while the other students received papers directly from the study committee. Yimengmeng couldn't understand why everyone's grades were so good, as they both attended aristocratic schools and had decent family conditions. Listening to the teacher's lecture, Yimengmeng only felt a mist in the clouds, and she could still roughly understand what the Chinese teacher was saying. Chinese is also her only subject that she passed, with a score of 90. Well, she just passed. Even during the end of class, the students seemed to be nailed to their seats without leaving at all. Yimengmeng looked at the study committee member next door. Each person's desk was separate, and there were only about 20 people in a classroom. Each person's actions were separated by at least half a meter. Study committee member, study committee member. Yimengmeng whispered to the study committee member wearing glasses and a ponytail. The study committee member turned their head and glanced at Yimengmeng, asking, "Yimengmeng, what's up with you?" Yimengmeng looked at the other person eagerly and said, "Can you tell me how to learn? I can't quite understand the teacher in class." The study committee member frowned and reached out to Yimengmeng. Yimengmeng hesitated for a moment, took out a gold card from her backpack and placed it in the other person's hand. The study committee member also hesitated for 2 seconds and asked, "What are you doing? Give me your test paper so I can see your level. Why did you give me a card?" Yimengmeng blushed and said, "I thought you asked me to pay the tuition fee, ha ha ha, here's the exam paper." She handed the test paper over, and the study committee member lowered their head to look at it, as if they had just glanced at it before flipping the page, and then glanced at it again before moving on to the next one. Yimengmeng secretly glanced at the textbook of the study committee member. The name is Qianjing, which is relatively neutral and can be used by both men and women. "Yimengmeng, your foundation is even worse than I imagined. It's probably only at my first grade level. If you don't mind, I'll bring all my textbooks and exercise books from 1st to 6th grade tomorrow. You don't need to listen to the teacher's lectures recently. Start with the elementary school textbooks and take a notebook to record any questions you don't understand. You can ask me during breaks or add my contact information. My QQ is 332. 233, you can ask me questions through QQ, and I'll spend 10 minutes answering them every day. You can study on the computer by yourself, and when you catch up, you won't be unable to understand." Okay, thank you. Yimengmeng felt both embarrassed and grateful. Qianjing nodded coldly and returned Yimengmeng's test paper to her. He continued to lower his head and study the questions, only to find that the cover of the book he was reading was actually calculus. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Sixth, simulate and surprise 10,000 fans. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6 is Sixth, simulate and surprise 10,000 fans. Yimengmeng pondered that she couldn't understand in class anyway, and Qianjing had also arranged a study plan for herself. Suddenly, she felt a bright and promising future ahead. Seeing everyone around her busy studying, she took out her phone and couldn't help but click on the black and white text Sims app. Start life simulation. At the age of 16, you decided to study hard according to the plan given to you by Qianjing. At the age of 17, you were able to get into your desired university by a margin of 50 points. You refused the offer from your family to buy you a score and chose to repeat your studies. At the age of 18, you were admitted to your desired university based on your strength. You fell in love with Yimengmeng at first sight, confessed to him, but he refused you. At the age of 19, Chu Xiaolan asked if you really like Yimengmeng. You said yes, and she said she wanted to compete with you fairly. You agreed. At the age of 20, Yimengmeng's company encountered an economic crisis. Your parents suggested that you get engaged and agreed to help Yimengmeng. You became Yimengmeng's fiancé AE, and your father helped Yimengmeng's company get through the difficulties. At the age of 21, you married Yimengmeng, but the other person never wanted to have a relationship with you. At the age of 22, your parents had a car accident on their way to see you, and no one survived. You inherited a huge inheritance. At the age of 23, Yimengmeng proposed a marriage proposal agreement to you, and you left the house with nothing at the age of 24, Chu Xiaolan appeared in front of you with a child who was 5 points similar to Yangguang, telling you that she had one. In a moment of anger, you pushed and shoved the other person's head to the corner of the table, causing Chu Xiaolan to lose her memory, and you were imprisoned at the age of 34, you stepped on a sewing machine for 10 years and finally got out of prison. You decided to start over and be a good person. When you took a deep breath, you were hit and killed by a runaway truck passing by. What? Although class hasn't ended yet, Yimengmeng's face has turned black. Toxic, what charm does this Yangguang have? How could she have been in love with her at first sight? How beautiful does that look? Yesterday, I heard my dad asking someone to check the driver at the door. Why was there a car accident? It's not a driver issue. Is it another car colliding? This app doesn't explain clearly, it's not detailed at all, only about car accidents, without specifying the specific time, location, cause, and situation of the car accident. No, she needs to check this Yangguang. Aren't they all human, with 2 eyes, 1 nose, and 1 mouth? Why fall in love at first sight? What's the point? What's the point? Moreover, Yimengmeng doesn't understand why every time she is cleared out of the house and her parents die, even though she has inherited a huge inheritance, her life suddenly starts to take a sharp turn for the worse. She's really impressed. That night after school, it was the study again. As soon as Yifu entered the study, he saw Yimengmeng sitting angrily on his office chair. Yifu was stunned for a moment, then showed a loving smile. Baby, you're here to care about Dad again. No, Dad, I had another dream. Yimengmeng decided to skip the delicate and artificial act of coquettishness instead of pretending to be weak and sad. She angrily said, Dad, I dreamt that I worked hard to study and retake for a year and finally got into my favorite university with my strength. As a result, I met a person named Yangguang at school. I fell in love with him at first sight and even had his family ask for engagement as a request to help his company get through difficulties. But I didn't expect him to be a white-eyed wolf. Not a year after we got married, you and my mother died in a car accident again. I was stripped out of my house a year later. During our marriage, he didn't even touch me, and a year after our divorce, Chu Xiaolan came to mock me with a little boy who looked like his son. I'm so angry. How could I possibly fall for such a white-eyed wolf? Father Yi's face was serious, but when he saw his precious daughter still in front of him, he immediately comforted him with heartache and said, Don't be angry, baby. It's all a dream, it's just a dream. Dad will handle it. Dad and Mom will definitely pay attention to safety, and there won't be a car accident. Dad will always protect you and Mom. I will find someone to investigate this Yangguang now. Let's see what the situation is. Well, Dad, you check. Yimengmeng looked at her handsome father with a helpless and indulgent smile on his face. In front of her, she directly dialed the phone and asked the person across the line to check for someone named Yangguang. Quickly, the matching information was found. Yimengmeng looked at the email on her computer and realized that something was wrong with Yangguang. According to the survey, it seems that female creatures who have seen this guy will fall in love with each other at first sight. The survey records show that this Yangguang has been very popular since kindergarten. Despite the plain appearance in the photos, Yimengmeng couldn't understand why she liked such an ordinary-looking person. Just looking at the photos didn't make her feel tempted. And the other person's life experience is also very legendary. They have been actively pursued by beautiful girls since childhood, and each one loves them so much that they want to die. Yimengmeng frowned. This person is poisonous, not worth it, and cannot be seen. It's better to switch to a favorite university. Baby, there's something wrong with this person. Don't be afraid, just study hard and Dad will handle this matter. Yimengmeng stood up from the sofa chair and said, Dad, sit down. Dad, what happened to the car accident? Why did I dream that you and my mom had a car accident, but Su Yifan didn't dream about it? My father thought to himself that Su Yifan had been reported and submitted to the country by him, and even because of this, he had received some news. Of course, he would not tell his precious daughter that as long as her daughter lived happily and carefree every day, it would be enough. Other things, he will find a way. Don't worry, baby. Dad will have someone check again, maybe there are still nails that haven't been pulled out. Yimengmeng nodded and helped her father rub his shoulders twice. Yifu's face was full of happiness, and just as he was about to compliment Yimengmeng, he noticed that Yimengmeng had left the study. Yimengmeng returned to her room, took out her phone, and found that Qian Jing had sent herself a bunch of documents with notes indicating study materials 1.999. Qian Jing. You can use electronic files to study. I have too many and heavy books, and I am too lazy to bring them. These are the basic courses and exercise questions I have selected for you. The supporting website is the online course address. If you have any questions, please read them multiple times. If you don't understand, please write down the questions and leave a message for me. I will reply when I have time. Yimengmeng. Okay, thank you. She opened her computer, logged into QQ, selected to accept all files, and continued to simulate with her phone. This feeling can really be addictive, mainly because why doesn't her life have a good ending? She doesn't believe it anymore. At the age of 16, you worked hard to study with the help of Qian Jing. At the age of 17, you were admitted to your desired university, but you were careful not to go. You chose your fourth choice, Coastal University. The school was near the beach, and you and your roommate went for a walk by the beach. Suddenly, a huge wave rushed towards you, and you died. Your parents lost their hair all night and were on their way to bury you in a car accident, both of whom died in action. Yimeng was so angry that she almost threw her phone out. Why did she die earlier? End of this chapter. Chapter 7. 7. Simulate the appearance of a crooked-mouthed bodyguard. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. 7. Simulate the appearance of a crooked-mouthed bodyguard. This world is too dangerous, and Yimengmeng feels that she needs a reliable bodyguard. So she ran straight to the study without wearing any shoes. Anyway, the whole room was kept warm and the ground temperature was always as warm as jade. Moreover, the servants cleaned it very clean, and even barefoot wouldn't turn black. Yimengmeng threw herself directly into Yifu's arms. She didn't want to be delicate and artificial, but whenever she thought of her pitiful and lamentable simulated fate, she wanted to cry. She had red eyes, and Yifu looked at her precious heart and liver with red eyes, feeling heartbroken. What's wrong, baby? What kind of nightmare did you have again? Yimengmeng stared at her father for a while, took a deep breath, and asked in a choked voice, Dad, haven't you ever doubted me? Why do I have these dreams? Don't you think I'm abnormal? Upon seeing Yimengmeng ask like this, my father touched her little head and whispered, Fool, you are my precious daughter. I believe everything you say, no matter how illogical it may sound, even if it's just a nightmare. In order for my precious child to have a good night's sleep, my father is willing to do anything. Even if I insist on marrying a scumbag. Yifu blacked his face and said in a deep voice, even if the other person was a scumbag before, as long as my baby likes me and I'm still alive, he can only hold my baby in his palm, otherwise I won't kill him. Woo-woo, Dad, you're the best. Yimengmeng kissed her father's face and calmed down. This simulation was of no use. Mainly due to car accidents, Yimengmeng is thinking about why her parents always die in car accidents, so angry. I always feel like there is a pair of eyes staring at my parents in places she can't see, and once they show any flaws, they will be knocked to death. Damn it. Is there any way to know who it is? Yimengmeng returned to her room with such thoughts and lay down on the bed, continuing to simulate. At the age of 16, you decided to investigate the truth behind your parents' car accident. You were killed in a car accident during the investigation. Woo woo woo, help, Yimengmeng burst into tears. Yimengmeng cried with back pain for about 10 minutes when her mother heard the sound. Emu saw that the door was not locked and gently knocked on it. "Who, don't bother me. Baby, why are you crying? Who bullied you? Are you a classmate from school?" Emu asked softly. Yimengmeng wiped away her tears and looked at her teenage mother with red eyes. With a whoosh, she rushed towards her mother. "Mom, can you help me find a great bodyguard? I don't feel secure right now. I was just moved by my father, and I forgot to mention the bodyguard." Emu didn't think much and nodded. "Okay, cute baby, don't cry. Mom will go help you find the most powerful one." Emu left the room, and Yimengmeng picked herself up and continued to simulate. "At the age of 16, your mother found you a bodyguard named Lin Fan who likes to crook his mouth. You felt that the other person was a bit greasy and disgusting, so you didn't give them a good face. However, the other person crooked his mouth and showed no concern. When you encountered danger, he always appeared in time. You found that the other person had strong strength and was proficient in magical medical skills that could help you detoxify when you were poisoned. Although he looked ordinary, as you spent time with him, you gradually developed a liking for him. At the age of 17, even though you didn't get into college, you received a notice from a well-known university from Lin Fan. You increasingly think that Lin Fan is not easy, and you like him even more. At the age of 18, you confessed to Lin Fan. Lin Fan agreed to date you, had sexual intercourse with you, and revealed his identity to you. It turned out that he was the Dragon King, with a towering identity and 108 wives. He returned to China to investigate a truth that you cannot know. At the age of 19, you gave birth to a daughter for Lin Fan and he brought her home. At the age of 29, you were under house arrest by Lin Fan for 10 years. His family had many wives and he had long forgotten about your existence. Suddenly, you learned that your parents had died in a car accident, and Lin Fan inherited the huge inheritance left by your parents. You were heartbroken. At the age of 30, Lin Fan came to see you and told you the truth about your parents' death. It turned out that he was the mastermind behind the scenes. He had originally planned to kill your whole family, because when your father's driver passed by him on a rainy day, his wheels rolled over a puddle and splashed his white moonlight all over his body. He wrote down his license plate number and swore to seek revenge. But to his surprise, it was your father who struggled for a long time. But in the middle of the night, he dreamed that his white moonlight dress was dirty, and the more he thought about it, the angrier he got, so he decided to take action. For the sake of giving birth to his daughter, who was also his woman, he decided to spare your life, but you must give it to him. His white moonlight poured a lifetime of foot wash. At the age of 40, by Yueguang Chu Xiaolan, who had been serving Lin Fan with all her heart and effort, begged her to find a good family for your daughter. At the age of 41, when you went to visit your daughter, she was despised by her husband. You found that her eyes were dodging and her body was injured. You learned that your daughter had been subjected to domestic violence. You wanted to seek help from Lin Fan, but you couldn't even see her face. At the age of 43, you received news of your daughter's death and wandered the streets feeling disheartened, resulting in a car accident and death. Yimengmeng fell into contemplation. Help, help, help! She couldn't accept the death of her parents, and it was for this reason that her family went bankrupt. And what's wrong with Chu Xiaolan? Isn't Chu Xiaolan giving birth to a child for Ouyang? Why is it the white moonlight of Lin Fan again? Is it a person? Or does it happen to have the same name? Yimengmeng's mind is full of question marks. However, the time of this parents' car accident was quite late, so the fundamental reason for my parents' car accident is because one time they accidentally splashed someone else's body with water while driving and got their license plate number remembered. Help! Yimengmeng looked at the ceiling with nothing to love. This Lin Fan is too strong. Apart from having many wives, she can't find any weaknesses, and she is also a medical expert. She doesn't know how to poison her. Calm down, calm down, calm down. Yimengmeng has repeatedly reviewed the simulation records twice, and at least she has obtained some useful information this time. This Lin Fan, oh my god, my head is so restless. Yimengmeng grabbed her soft and long hair. Anyway, let's touch each other. Although it's dangerous, at least this time my parents had a car accident a bit late. I can't handle this matter on my own. Yimengmeng ran towards the study. Dad, 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 I'm dreaming again. My father gestured to her with a quiet gesture, and she quickly stopped speaking. After seeing my father turn off the video call, she whispered, "Can I speak now?" Ifu nodded helplessly, but thinking of the situation just now, he still instructed, "Be careful before speaking in the future. It's not good for others to know that my precious daughter can have an unpredictable dream. Dad is afraid you will encounter danger." Yimengmeng nodded and began to describe in detail to her father the situation she encountered in the life simulation. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. 8 Countermeasures. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 8 Countermeasures. My dream this time was like this. I just begged my mom to find me a bodyguard because I've been having nightmares lately and I don't feel secure. Then I realized that this bodyguard is the real culprit that caused you and Mom to have a car accident. Ifu looked shocked and picked up the phone, ready to check. Yimengmeng quickly stopped Ifu. "Dad, calm down. You can't investigate. After listening to me, this person is very strong. His name is Lin Fan, and his bodyguard is just a disguise for him. The reason why he wants to kill our family is because on a rainy day, a car passed by a puddle and accidentally splashed his white moonlight skirt. So the more he thought about it, the more angry he became, and he couldn't help but destroy our family." Ifu's facial muscles twitched for a moment, and he also felt that the reason was very absurd. Now he really believed that his daughter was really dreaming, otherwise how could there be such a ridiculous plot? He has excellent martial arts skills, unparalleled in medicine and poison, and is known as the Dragon King in the martial arts world. "Dad, have you heard of him? In my dream, except for 108 wives, I feel like he has no weaknesses and is invincible. By the way, your daughter remembers that she is the 108th. I don't know if there will be any more. I dreamt of being isolated from the world and being placed under house arrest. Dragon King. Well, I heard that the main forces are all overseas." Yimengmeng tugged at her father's sleeve and her eyes turned red. "Baby, don't worry, let me think for my father." Father Yi frowned and thought. Yimengmeng rubbed her father's eyebrows with her fingertips, and his expression relaxed as he said, "I have heard of someone nicknamed Dragon King, but I didn't expect him to become a bodyguard. Although I don't know him personally, I heard that this person repays kindness and revenge. Apart from the chaotic relationship between men and women, he is truly impeccable. Dad, what should we do? We're already enemies with him now. He may not have found out it's us yet, or maybe he has found out. He's just hiding. I don't know when he'll give us a fatal blow. So, baby, please tell me more about your dream." Yimengmeng nodded. "I just didn't feel secure. I originally wanted you to help me find a bodyguard, Dad. However, I forgot about the emotional atmosphere you had with me before. After going back, I had a nightmare. When my mom cried in bed, she came in and I asked my mom to find a bodyguard for me. My mom arranged it for me, but I don't know if she has found one yet. Anyway, I dreamt of a person named Lin Fan who likes to speak crookedly coming to our house as a bodyguard. At first, I hated this person, but they seemed to have a good temper. Later, because of multiple heroic rescues and detoxification, they gave me endless sense of security, and I trust them more and more. And then, I always feel like the other person is hiding something, but I didn't completely hide it, so I confessed to them. Not long after, I got pregnant and was taken back by him. He was under house arrest and didn't see me for 10 years. Wait, baby, you said your attitude changed after you confessed to him and he had a relationship with you, right? Yimengmeng looked at her father and said, it's really true. Meng, listen to me. Our family is not a match for the Dragon King right now. We can handle this matter this way. It is rumored that the Dragon King has kindness and revenge. There is no need to tell your mother about this matter. Your mother has a pure mind and never embarrasses anyone. Meng, all you need to do is never confess to the other party, nor accept them, nor even give them a good face. During this period, the other party should also be able to protect you well. We should try to show sincerity, kindness, and beauty in front of him, and let him take the initiative to let go of hatred. This matter cannot be investigated. The Dragon King's subordinates have experts who are proficient in various industries, and if you accidentally expose it, it will be exposed. Yimengmeng nodded and could only do this, because if she didn't do anything, she would get revenge, so when she met this person, she could only face difficulties and rise up. So, Dad, I'm going back. Go ahead, rest well, don't think too much. Everything has a father, and even if he does everything, he will definitely protect you and your mother's safety. Yimengmeng left, and Ifu's expression was heavy. Dragon King. Has Dragon King actually returned to his home country? Yimengmeng lay down on the bed, took a deep breath, looked at the black background and white text app on her phone, and clicked on it. At the age of 16, your mother found a bodyguard for you who likes to crook his mouth. Although you had a cold attitude towards him, you still gave him a cup of warm water, and he crooked his mouth and smiled. This year, you did your best to show your truth, kindness, and beauty. When you encountered kidnapping, poisoning, and hooliganism, the other party appeared in time and took care of you thoroughly. You were grateful on the surface, but there was no fluctuation in your heart at the age of 17, you didn't get into your ideal university, but Lin Fan gave you an admission letter from a well-known university and told you to study hard and be safe. He wants to leave for a period of time and has something to tell you when he comes back. At the same time, he arranged a silent female bodyguard with the code name Nightingale for you. Your life has become calm, and except for family and classes, any male creature within 5 meters of you will be stopped by the elusive Nightingale. At the age of 18, the Nightingale told you that Lin Fan was seriously injured and on the brink of death. She asked if you wanted to go and see him. You chose to refuse and died from poisoning in the Nightingale's indifferent gaze. What? At least one more year of safety period. How do you feel like you're dying earlier and earlier? Yimengmeng scratched her head. Can Lin Fan, who is so strong, still be in danger? It's fake. When did you get poisoned when you died from poisoning? Is it from Lin Fan? Or under the Nightingale? Help, I'm not sure if regular physical examinations are useful. Calm down, so sleepy, go to sleep. Sleeping Yimengmeng didn't notice that her computer was still on, and it showed that the learning files had been received. The next day after school, Yimengmeng saw her mother looking for a bodyguard for her, crooked mouth Lin Fan. Lin Fan watched as she tilted her mouth and smiled. Yimengmeng's face stiffened as she poured a glass of water for the other person and said coldly, "Don't disturb me if you have nothing to do, but when I encounter danger, you must be there. This is your mission. Don't worry, Mississippi. I will take care of you carefully." Lin Fan tilted his lips and smiled, a smile he had trained on before. He felt that he should be very charming at this moment. As for the girl in front of him, although her expression was cold, she personally poured a glass of water for his small bodyguard, which was still warm, indicating that she was a good girl. Lin Fan looked at this magnificent home and found that the accommodation room arranged for him by his mother was in the guest room. He didn't even find it in the dusty miscellaneous room just because he was a bodyguard. He had a good impression of his mother. I don't know what the man in this family is like. If he's a scumbag, he doesn't mind Nin dying that man to rescue these two mother and daughter whom he remembers well. He, Lin Fan, the Grand Dragon King, likes the feeling of hiding his identity. He only believes that true love can be met in such a situation. If he encounters a woman who is loyal to him even if his identity is humble, he will definitely take his life to protect her. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. 9. Finally, it seems like it was accidentally sent. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. 9. Finally, it seems like it was accidentally sent. Yimengmeng returned to her room and lay on the sofa in front of the computer for a while, only to see that her computer had not been turned off and her study files had already been received. To be honest, she is a bit confused now. Is studying hard useful? Is learning these things from textbooks useful? Since the app appeared on her phone, she has felt that she is living so tired and nervous, but, compared to the tragic future, well, she is exhausted and willing. She doesn't seem to have much talent for learning, right? She does. She remembers a simulation before where she relied on her strength to get into her desired university. So, as long as you study hard and give it your all based on the information provided by Qian Jing, you will definitely be able to get into the school you want with your strength. At first, Yimengmeng had no dreams, but after simulating her life so many times, she realized that it was better to strengthen herself and inherit the family business and take over her father's company than to find a passerby who didn't know where to take care of her property. So, should we learn business management? Or study law? Or study finance? Computer. Before this, Yimengmeng only wanted to gain a sincere friendship and meet an ideal love. But these life simulations, forget it, she would rather live a lonely life. What kind of things are they all? It's too difficult. Anyway, let me give it a try. I'll give it my all and study hard before I come back to life simulation. Starting from the order given by Qian Jing, Yimengmeng started looking at the learning materials from 1. The content of first grade elementary school is simple, she can understand it. Understood. You can understand everything. Yimengmeng suddenly gained a huge amount of confidence. Even if she encountered some difficulties, she frowned and found the formula in the textbook, and would still do it. According to Qian Jing's comment, Yimengmeng recorded the formulas she needed to solve the questions. She didn't have a breath of time in a separate notebook. Until her shoulders were sore and her eyes were sore, and her neck felt a bit stiff, Yimengmeng stretched lazily. At first glance, more than 3 hours had passed in the blink of an eye. Seeing an extra bowl of cold tea and crystal health pastry by her desk, I didn't know when. Yimengmeng was about to take a bite of the pastry as she took it and suddenly paused. She looked at the room and confirmed that she was the only one. She took out her phone and clicked on the Sims app. At the age of 16, you decided to undergo certain checks on everything you enter in the future. However, you still got poisoned, were kidnapped, and encountered hooligans. Lin Fan appeared in time to protect you. At the age of 17, you were admitted to your desired university and chose a major in business management. At the age of 18, Lin Fan told you that he wanted to leave for a while. When he returned, he had something to say to you, asking you to take good care of yourself and pay attention to safety. He also arranged for a silent female bodyguard, codenamed Nightingale. At the age of 19, the Nightingale told you that Lin Fan was in danger and wanted to take you to meet him. You chose to agree. When you saw Lin Fan, you finally found out the reason why he left. It turned out that his enemy Zheng Xiangyang had poisoned you with a poison that Lin Fan couldn't even detoxify. Lin Fan completed a very dangerous mission to help you detoxify and was seriously injured. He confessed to you, but you hesitated for a while before choosing to refuse. The other party grinned and didn't get angry, and handed you the identity token of the assassination group. There were 7 members in this group, all of whom had their own exclusive means of killing, and Lin Fan couldn't breathe in your arms. At the age of 20, the Nightingale asked if you were planning to grow old alone. You nodded and her eyes were pleased. You saw Lin Fan again, and it turned out that he was faking death. Lin Fan told you that he had met his true love in this life and could no longer protect you. Everything related to Lin Fan was taken back from your world, and you felt relieved. You met Ouyangwang at school and fell in love with him at first sight, but you didn't show any abnormalities at the age of 21, you couldn't forget Yangguang. After interning at your father's company, you found that people around you liked to act in front of each other, and you worked hard to establish yourself at the age of 22, you never forget Yangguang. You went on a trip with your parents to commemorate a peaceful life, but a plane crash and your whole family passed away. Yimengmeng took a deep breath and told herself that although she was angry, she still had to keep smiling. After revealing two obvious dimples on her cheeks, she began to analyze the situation. Firstly, this simulation has made significant progress, and no matter how you look at it, a plane crash is normal, so it can be considered as an accident for the time being. Then, I restrained myself from pestering Yangguang. Although I couldn't forget this toxic person, it shouldn't have been so serious that it affected my life as before. Finally, from the results, it can be inferred that I am not a fool. Even though I only have half a year left to take the college entrance examination, as long as I study hard, I can still rely on my strength to get into my desired university. Then, I endured until Lin Fan let go of her hatred. However, the other party actually suffered a serious injury just to detoxify her. Later, Yimengmeng suddenly realized something. Because Lin Fan is now living at home, for safety reasons, Yimengmeng dare not go to her father like before to discuss countermeasures. If anything is found, it will be bad. Before encountering Lin Fan, although my family would have been arranged by the other party to be hit and killed by a car, kidnapping, poisoning, and so on were basically not encountered, right? Yimengmeng recalled for a moment, frowning and nodding. Yes, that's it. So, the reason why I was kidnapped and poisoned is most likely due to Lin Fan's enemy. Lin Fan's enemy name is also very clear, which is Zheng Xiangyang. Zheng Xiangyang, who is it? Yimengmeng opened Xiaodu and searched for it. Zheng Xiangqian, a well-known entrepreneur, inheritor of a consortium, charity ambassador, donates 500 million yuan annually to welfare institutions. Seems like a good person. The photo is also pretty long, with a sword-like eyebrow and a sharp eyebrow. Wearing a suit and shirt, looking at the camera with a cold expression, it looks quite handsome. What is his grudge against Lin Fan? No, you can't look at her face. It's this person who poisoned her. Yimengmeng shook her head and turned off her laptop. I don't know if it's because of the emulator, and with Lin Fan entering the house, I always feel like Lin Fan is secretly monitoring her, even doubting whether her phone or computer will be monitored. If her phone is monitored, then I wouldn't be ruined. Yimengmeng took a sip of cake and herbal tea. At least through simulation, she knew that this thing should not be toxic. After cushioning her belly, Yimengmeng returned to bed and lay down, ready to look at her phone. After thinking for a moment, I walked to the door again, locked the room door, and then checked around me and under the bed in place. After confirming that no one was around, I continued to simulate. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Facing Death. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors.